Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are pleased to welcome Brooks Koepka to the Media Centre. At this point, last year, Brooks, was so much anticipation to see you play in the Masters, and then you were forced to withdraw with a lingering wrist injury. A year later, and you're fully recovered. How are you feeling coming into the tournament this year?
I feel good. I mean, obviously, I haven't played as well as I would have liked in the beginning part of the year, but over the last couple of weeks, I've seen some solid results, and I like where my game is trending. It's nice to be back here. It's always a special place to be playing, and last year disappointing not being able to be here, but looking forward to a good week.
Great. Stellar 2018. Victories in the US Open and the PGA Championship, and then being named the Tour's Player of the Year. Congratulations, what an awesome year. You're also the first person to successfully defend the US Open since Curtis Strange in 1989. Now you're a three-time champion. How have you adapted your approach and preparation to deal with the high-pressure moments in the major championships?
I just keep it very simple. Pressure is something you create on your own. When you start thinking about results, if you're not thinking about the results, then there's really no pressure. It's just like when you're practicing. The second you start thinking about what will happen if I make this or what might come of it, then that's when you start feeling pressure, and there's no pressure if you're not thinking about the results. So I never really think about anything. I just try to I kind of like black out sometimes when we're playing. I'm not really thinking of anything, and a hole can go by and I don't really know that nothing's really registered, which is kind of nice. And try to keep the same routine every week. The same group of people in the same house, and it definitely simplifies things for major weeks, because they are probably some of the most stressful weeks you're going to play.
Great. Thanks, Brooks. Might hand over to some questions. Sean, we'll start with you.
You talked about watching this event last year kind of reignited some of your passion for golf. I was wondering, watching it and seeing the tournament and course from a new perspective, did you learn anything different about playing the course?
It wasn't so much about playing the golf course. I feel like once you play it a handful of times, you really know a lot of the knowledge and little nuances of this place, especially when you start talking to players that have played it for 15 years. They're more than helpful with their info, and that's a big part of it. And you jot everything down you can, everything the experienced players are saying, and then you find things on your own, little things to do. But I mean, a lot of the times you're just trying to find the uphill putt out here. If you hit a lot of greens and leave yourself some uphill putts, you're gonna have some good chances.
Gene.
Brooks, how has this weather affected your prep work this week and coming into it? How often had you been here and played?
I got in Saturday. I just hit balls Saturday and Sunday, and then just played the back nine yesterday. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter whether that it's raining. We can't get out. I mean, it happened at the PGA, so who knows?
Sam.
Brooks, some of the traditions here, no cell phones, nobody inside the ropes. Are there any that you particularly like and give this place a different feel than every other tournament?
I actually like how the patrons can get so close to you. Like, I think that's a special experience for them. I remember when I was a little kid, I was in amazement at how the experience when you come here. It's unbelievable. As a kid, I'll never forget it. I thought it was the coolest thing to see these guys up close, personal, and sometimes they hit it and you feel like you can grab their club when they're taking their backswing, and that's something I'll never forget. And as a player, I mean, it makes it much more enjoyable. You feel like they really get a up-close, personal experience, and it's a fun place. And, I mean, no cell phones. I always like no cell phones. You don't have to deal with text messages, nothing. It's nice to put it away for a bit.
Greg.
Brooks, where exactly were you at in the recovery process this week? What could you do last year at this point, and what couldn't you do?
I was still in a soft cast at this point. It was more of a protective thing, and they didn't know where I was still in pain. I still couldn't push down on a shampoo bottle, to get anything out. I was still in pain, and then saw a doctor. I think it would have been next week last year, and he popped it back in, and it's been good since. So it was one of those crazy things. Not sure how long, longer than I expected. But once I was able to finally feel like, okay, I can actually hold on to something and grip something a little tight, with some pressure, that I was able to go. But I mean, this week was, I wasn't doing anything last year.
Have a lack of motivation, but not being able to play this after so much anticipation, did it provide a little extra spark?
Yeah, I think so. Anytime you're on the couch and you're watching guys that you should be competing with, it's never fun. It's something. It was a blessing in disguise. I've said it a million times. I think that was something I needed to really kind of find my love for the game again. Something that was important to me. To sit down and watch, I think, and really realize how much I do miss this game, and where, assess kind of where I was at, and then to come back and, to have the year I had was impressive, because I don't think anybody saw that one coming.
Karen.
Brooks, did you say that you attended this growing up as a child?
Yeah, I came here 98, 99, maybe, somewhere, one of those years.
What was the highlight for you? Did you get autographs? Did you follow one person in particular?
Yeah, I remember, I think I've told the story about how I tried to get Phil's autograph. I was standing by the old range, and somehow found my way kind of right by the parking lot or something like that, and asked him for an autograph, and he said no, and he turned me down. Probably about the only kid Phil's ever turned down. And he told me years later I shouldn't have been in the parking lot, so fair enough.
Bill.
Brooks, you talk a lot, and your trainer puts photos out there sometimes of your fitness workouts. What's your training like this week at a major? Will it be the same as a normal week?
Usually it's the same as a normal week. We did a bunch of tests. I wasn't feeling very well at the Players, and we did a bunch of tests, and I haven't been in the weight room or done any activity since the Players. So this will be more of a relaxing week, recovery week for me. Taking three weeks off has been nice. Finally feel like I've got some energy back. And just, normally it would be a normal week, but I need to take care of myself if I want to actually play this game for a long time.
Jesse.
Brooks, you being a Nike guy, I wonder, what are your thoughts on Tiger rocking the mock turtleneck look this week? And did you ever do it back in your younger days in the mid-2000s?
Yeah, I did. I think probably the first time you ever wore it was, I think, here. I can't remember, but I remember I definitely went on to Nike's website and definitely bought a few of them. Probably bought the red one, too. I probably had 4 or 5 of them when I was a kid. So, everything always comes back into style, right?
David.
Brooks, over here. Just wondering how the first tee here at Augusta National ranks as far as just the intimidation factor, how overwhelming it feels, how much nervousness you feel here compared to first tee somewhere else.
I think until I played the Ryder Cup, it was the most nervous tee shot I ever hit. The first time you ever play it, it's going to be very intimidating. Your whole range session, you've been waiting to hit this shot and just get it underway, get the round going, and feel like you've got something. It's a unique experience. It's always fun. The last time we played a major was what, 7, 8 months ago. So there's a lot of anticipation for 7, 8 months just to play another one, and it's fun. I love it. I love getting on that first tee and letting it fly. It's more excitement now. It's not as much nerves as it was the first time, but that's that comes with every time you play this golf course. Even if you come up and play it on a random day, you're just excited to tee it off.
just the hole itself? I mean, is it tough from a strategic standpoint, or?
Yeah, I mean, for me it is because I fade it. If I push one and don't hit it very well, it's going to go in that bunker, and it's not the best place to be, or you kind of pull one and you're in the left trees. I mean, it's a great opening hole because if you hit a great tee shot, you got a great look at birdie, and if not, then you're kind of wondering what you're going to make. And I just think it's a great opening hole.
Tara.
Brooks, when you came here as a kid, where were you at in your golf life? Like, were you dreaming about playing here someday? And what was it like? What do you remember about being a patron, if you will? What do you just remember about the experience of watching and not running and, that kind of thing if you were a kid?
I remember, I always thought I was going to play here. I didn't know when. I remember walking up the first and thinking, man, I didn't realize how hilly this place was. You walk down that first hole, because you don't really see it on TV. You walk down, you walk up, and you're huffing and puffing as a little kid, and you're thinking, and then all of a sudden you go down 2, and you're like, oh man, I wasn't ready for this. That was kind of my first experience walking those first 2 holes, and it was so much fun being a kid. Coming out here and trying to think, oh man, I want to do this someday. You're kind of looking up to, watching Tiger and guys I'd seen on TV, never really got to see in person, and finally getting to watch them play. You really understand how good they are, and then you go home and you try to imitate all of them, or at least I did. Try to imitate Tiger's swing or whatever it might have been, but it was really eye-opening, being 9, 10 years old and coming and watching your idols.
Brought you? How did you end up getting here?
My dad brought me up, and then I think maybe a couple of years later he brought my stepmom and my brother up, and we all came up and watched. And it's just a fun event. It's a fun event for especially if you're gonna bring the whole family. It makes it really a memory for a lifetime, I guess you could say.
Gary.
Brooks, the last 13 years, the winner after the first round was no worse than 10th, and that was Adam Scott. Do you have any idea why you think that might be?
I have no idea. No. That's an interesting stat. Obviously, you got to get off to a good start in the major and at least build some confidence and kind of get it rolling. But, I have no answer why that would be. That's actually quite interesting and kind of baffles me a little bit. Sorry.
Jeff.
Brooks, if you think about competing here in 2017, it really wasn't that long ago, and yet in the time since you've collected 3 majors. When you go out to the first tee on Thursday, what's the tangible difference you feel as a player in confidence?
I've got 3 trophies that I haven't had any time I've ever teed it up. I've never been a major champion when I played here. Completely different player, probably. Understand how to handle pressure a lot better. Understand this golf course a lot better. Even, sitting out a year. There's certain things you can't pick up on when you're watching, and really, kind of matured, on and off the golf course. I think it's a big deal. Learning how to, deal with everything's kind of come at me fast over the last 18 months, 20 months, and learning how to deal with that now is I'm becoming a little better at it, I guess you could say. So that makes everything a lot easier.
Gary.
Did you ever tell Phil that story, and did he ever say that whether he remembered?
Yeah, no, he doesn't remember. I can't believe he doesn't remember the first time he ever said no to a kid signing an autograph. But yeah, I told him, I think in 2014, I think we were playing a practice round at the British Open. I had to tell him. I was like, listen, man. I was like, you stiffed me, and I really didn't like you for a long time. But yeah, no, he knows. And so he was typical Phil, right back at me. I shouldn't have been there, and we can laugh about it now. I've got his autograph now.
Do you remember a player that you did get? What was your best autograph that week that you actually did get?
I don't remember. I collected probably 50 of them. I pretty much got everybody. Didn't get Tiger. Everybody else pretty much got. all the players, when we came, they're all so nice. And you just stand there as a little kid. I mean, as a player now, you look at it and you want to sign for a little kid. You know, it's hard to say no to a little kid.
Even.
Brooks, as someone who came here as a young kid, what do you think about the prevalence of ticket scalpers? The cheapest tickets tomorrow on StubHub are $3,000. Do you think that might be pricing families like yourself out of coming to Augusta?
I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, golf's an expensive sport. I'm not saying that that's okay, but, you know, everything that's a little bit more precious is always going to be more expensive. That's why Ferraris are so expensive, or, you know, whatever, all these nice cars. It's simple. I mean, not many people have them, and it's tough to get a ticket. But that's what makes this experience so enjoyable. When you do come here, you feel like you're, if you come with your family or whoever you're coming with, I mean, people plan for a year what they're going to do when they get here and how they're going to be here, and that's what makes it special. So, I mean, I'm not surprised, but, I mean, that's just kind of how things go.
Those scalpers are getting those tickets illegally and reselling them, which they're not allowed to do. Is that something that maybe should be stamped down upon?
Sorry, I couldn't hear the last part of it.
The fact that those scalpers have acquired those tickets illegally and are reselling when they're not supposed to, is that something that maybe we should be looking at?
I mean, I think that happens in every sport. I mean, you're going to see it no matter where you go, Super Bowl, you know, NCAA tournament, whatever it is. I mean, it happens everywhere. It'd be hard to stop it. You know, I know there's ways, you know, tracking the ticket number, all that stuff like that. Cracks down on it a little bit, but at the end of the day, you know, it's really hard to stop that.
Last two questions. Eamon.
Brooks, you mentioned taking time off, working out, and having tests done at the players. Is there a lingering health issue right now?
No lingering. You know, it's all quick fixes. You know, I should be back to everything in a couple weeks. Just did a bunch of blood work and trying to figure out what was going on. You know, kind of, I mean, the diet I was on was probably not the best. You know, I was like 1,800 calories a day. I mean, you're not going to be in the best physical shape at that point. You look at guys like Michael Phelps or somebody like that eating, you know, 6,000 to 7,000 calories by lunchtime. So, you know, I wanted to do it and try to lose some weight, and, you know, maybe went about it a little too aggressively for such a long period of time, in the intensity of what I was doing.
Don.
Brooks, you've alluded to watching Tiger here when you were younger. If the winner this week is not Brooks Koepka, how special do you think it would be for golf for Tiger to win another one?
Yeah, I mean, I think I already spoiled everybody of their dreams the last time we played. So, sorry. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I mean, it'd be cool to see him win. You know, I think everybody in the field would love to stop him. I mean, I enjoyed stopping history. I thought I had a great time. But, yeah, I mean, you know, taking myself out of it, I think it'd be absolutely incredible to watch. And it'd be incredible to see. We all know he's back. There's no doubt about that. It's, you know, can he get it done? You know, he seems like he's competing, you know, with the Open, and then, you know, the PGA. He's been very close. So I wouldn't be surprised this week if he's knocking on the door.
Finish with you, Karen.
You described this as the most stressful week of the year. What makes it more stressful than a U.S. Open week?
I think I've probably gotten about, I don't know, 100 texts for tickets. I think tickets is probably the hardest thing. Everybody wants to come, and obviously, you know, you got family, and you try to take care of your family, but a lot of friends feel like they need tickets and they text last second. So that's always difficult telling people no is never fun. And, you know, sometimes you can, I don't want to say overpromise, but you got to let people know. And then, you know, normally at a major week, not the entire family doesn't come. I'm not saying the family adds stress, but you just start adding so many people into what might normally be, 7, 8 people with me on a normal week, and now all of a sudden we've got 15. It's just a lot more. They're grown adults; they know what they're doing, but just making sure, everyone's got their tickets. They're in the right place. You get the part 3, making sure everybody kind of comes in, timing of it all. Majors are always stressful, but when everybody else comes, when you get that large of a group, it makes it a little more difficult.
Brooks, thanks. That was a great interview.
Yeah,
Wish
thank you.
All the best for the week.
Appreciate it.